Hello guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Explosive Cats, and today I'm doing something kind of different. The Battlefield 1 reveal event sort of thing, and the trailer came out on Wednesday. And I was going to make a video about this earlier, but I've been actually pretty busy all week, so sorry that it's this late. I know a lot of other people have been talking about it, and I wanted to make a video, I just haven't. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into everything. So, basically, the main reason why everybody kind of seems concerned for Battlefield 5 is simply because it just kind of seems... I don't even know the word for it. It just seems a little over the top. And obviously there are a lot of... Since this is a World War II game, there are a lot of sort of controversial things over the historical accuracy of the game. And, I mean, most of them, not many people mind. Like, if there's a weapon that wasn't used during the time period exactly, and it wasn't seen in combat much, that doesn't really bother many people, and it doesn't really bother me either. But there are a bunch of other things that kind of, I guess, seem to be able to take away from the experience. And the first thing is, as you saw in the beginning of the trailer, not only is there a woman fighting on the front lines of World War II like it's a completely normal thing, but she also has a weird robotic prosthetic arm thing. And it's just kind of weird. And that's not the only sort of, I guess, cosmetic thing that's sort of weird. There's a bunch of characters in the trailer with really weird face paint. They all have like this weird face paint. There's some African American guy with this giant like blue triangle on his head, and it just kind of looks weird. And it normally, like, if that were like a modern day game, like if this was something that was seen in, I don't know, maybe even Battlefield 4, it probably wouldn't have bothered people as much, except for, I guess, the prosthetic arm thing. But, like, face paint and character customization is stuff that we've wanted in Battlefield for quite a long time. But many people are kind of concerned that now is the time they're using it. The main reason just simply being that this is World War II, and that kind of stuff wasn't really seen during that war. And the other thing that many people are kind of concerned with is sort of, I guess, the political agenda. Now, I mean, obviously with Battlefield 1, they kind of, I guess, pushed the limits a little bit, considering that whenever they added the Russian DLC, they made I guess, the character model for the Russian sniper a woman. And that kind of got on some people's nerves. I can't really blame them, because if you've played as them, or played against them, you know that if you're in the middle of a battle, you'll hear a bunch of men screaming, you know, it's a terrible war, and then out of nowhere you'll just hear a very high-pitched scream, and it's just kind of weird. And not only that, but also, the guy who was on the cover of Battlefield 1 used to be the main menu sort of screen whenever you just press start and it'd take you into the game, and then they changed it to the bald Russian lady. Now, that didn't necessarily bother me as much. I thought, hey, there was a sort of group of Russian snipers during World War I that were like a all-female division, and they were kind of, I guess, paying tribute to that. Some people minded it quite a bit. It didn't really bother me and a bunch of other people that much. But now they're kind of just, I guess, pushing it a little too far, because if you all saw at the very end of the trailer, of course, the person on the front cover of the game is a woman. And now, by no means do I oppose having women in video games at all, considering that Tomb Raider, The Last of Us, and Uncharted: The Lost Legacy are three of my favorite games of all time. But also, you can tell that this isn't necessarily the case, simply because other very popular first-person shooters, such as Rainbow Six Siege, where pretty much about 50% of the operators are women, and that doesn't really bother anybody because it's a modern day game. There's all sorts of different, I guess, factions to fight for, and in modern day, that's something that's completely possible, whereas in World War II, women didn't really fight on the front lines. And then whenever you have a lady who's kind of wearing, I guess, I don't know, it kind of looks like a pirate coat in a way. It's not a pirate coat, it's like like a rebel jacket or something, but she kind of looks like a pirate, and she has a robot arm and blue face paint, and she's got an accent. It's just kind of weird at the end of the day to a lot of people. And not only are they making the front cover a woman with kind of that lady who's in the trailer seeming to kind of be, I guess, sort of like the poster character for the game, but they also had Trevor Noah as the guy who hosted the reveal. And if you haven't seen the reveal, go watch it and you'll understand why I sound concerned about that. Not only did he kind of have no clue what he was talking about, and have no clue what in the heck Battlefield is, because if you watched it, you knew there was a part where they said that there's going to be co-op, and he's like, oh, I loved co-op in Battlefield 1, and there was no co-op in Battlefield 1. And, I mean, that's not really, I guess, the part that bothers people as much. I mean, it definitely bothers some people, including me, not a ton, that he didn't necessarily know that he was talking about, because having very famous people who don't really have anything to do with video games sort of represent a game, or kind of, I guess, like host the reveal, is nothing new. They do that at E3 and all that kind of stuff all the time. But Trevor Noah specifically, like, whatever, it doesn't really matter what political view you have, but if you don't know who Trevor Noah is, he's a very left person, and he kind of just makes his living off of making very kind of crappy jokes about Trump and right-wing politics. And I don't necessarily care if you are a right person or a left person. That doesn't bother me or anything. But it's just kind of having somebody whose whole career is centered around politics and sort of one-sided things is kind of unusual, considering that those type of people tend to bring politics into everything. And definitely having someone like Trevor Noah, who's on the political side, associated with all the include women in everything sort of deal, kind of says a lot about DICE. And I by no means hate DICE. They've made some amazing games over the years. Battlefield always being just one of those games that surprises everybody with every new release, because they're just really good at making video games. But having somebody like that represent your game, and then sort of pushing women having to be in historical games that don't really include them. I mean, they had Faith in Mirror's Edge, and nobody complained that it was a woman, because it's modern, or it's futuristic, and that's realistic for the future. But, you know, whenever it's historical, it's just, you know, it's not really right. But just having somebody like Trevor Noah do that is kind of questionable. And not so much is everyone worried about Battlefield specifically, but you can definitely see this sort of coming of politics into video games in a lot of different areas. I mean, in Call of Duty, they did a bunch of stuff, and then people were complaining that trans women weren't represented in it, and all this other stuff. And I can tell you 100%, 90% of the gamers don't really care, kind of, I guess, what politics are in games, and they don't want politics in their games because it takes away from the experience. And whenever you push an agenda in a video game, it really shows, and it really takes away from the experience. Now, by no means am I saying that the trailer was bad, or that Battlefield 5 is going to be a terrible game. No, it's probably going to be very good. Whether they keep all the stuff that they sort of have in their plans now, or if they change it, it's still probably going to be a pretty good game. And the trailer, very cinematic, graphics look amazing, and it was just a good trailer. It's just people are kind of not wanting this to be the future of Battlefield, and I can't really blame them, or just the future of video games in general. And also, people were complaining that it was World War II, so it's like the same as Battlefield 1. That not necessarily bothered me as much. I was kind of hoping for, I guess, a modern game, even though BF3, BF4, and BF Hardline were all modern games. Same with the Bad Company series. But I kind of think that's where Battlefield is at its best. But the World War II setting, I think it'll be great. I mean, with Battlefield 1, they even somehow made it very interesting, despite the fact that most of it was trench warfare. They did cut the or not cut corners. They did kind of, I guess, stretch the realism quite a bit. But I mean, they made it work, and I have no doubt that they're going to make World War II in this generation very interesting. But yeah, I mean, overall, I don't really know what to think. Do I think that all the sort of things that they have in place are going to stick? After seeing how people are reacting to it, I would say 50% sure that they will make some changes to, I guess, sort of the cosmetic side of things. Whether it's going to be a lady on the front cover or not doesn't really bother me, as long as they don't, I guess, push political agendas very far. But sorry that this video took so long to put out. Don't think that I hate Battlefield now. I'm definitely going to wait to see how everything turns out, and then I guess I'll have my final opinions on it. Probably going to be posting more Battlefield 1 stuff, simply because I'm getting back into that much more. Since, you know, the whole BF5 reveal thing and all that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry that it took so long for this to come out. I wish I could have made it earlier. But if you enjoy this kind of stuff, I don't make it that often, but if you enjoyed it, I might make more of these kind of videos. Because I do like talking about this kind of stuff, and I do find enjoyment in it. But anyway, since this video is 11 minutes and 34 seconds long, I'm going to cut it here. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop a dislike if you hated the video. Subscribe if you like this kind of stuff, or if you like any of the other stuff that you might see in the sort of recommended section underneath this video. But until next time, I will see you guys later.